Happy Monday. Welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. I've got Mr. Kevin. What's up, man?
What's going on? How was the weekend?
The weekend was adventure filled with the children.
As always, yeah.
Bridget had like some work installation at a project here, so she was pretty much gone all day Saturday and most of the morning Sunday. So that that made things interesting. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're showing you a franchise where the top franchisee made $35 million in 1 year that they report as sales in their FTD, which is wild. And we're also going to share screen. This is what we're going to hit on today. So we're going to talk about franchise with it. So they show average sales of 5.3 million, top franchisee 35 million. We're going to talk about a confidential resale, our first confidential one, Kevin. I'm surprised we haven't had a confidential one before this, actually. But it's been operating for 15 years, which is cool. Case study from an entrepreneur who wanted to diversify their income, and the latest episode of the Franchise Empire show. For those of you tuning in, I know this is the first time that, Kevin, I didn't tell you this, we sent out a text to folks and an email. We never sent out a text or an email or anything to promote this live, and we did that today. So I can see that we already have more people watching live, which is awesome. So welcome, y'all. And yeah, let's just dive in. So tell us about this resale.
Yeah, very, very mysterious. I don't, sometimes the franchises, when we reach out, they're a little bit, indifferent on marketing it. And it's because it's probably up to the owner. But anyways, regardless, it's a massage therapy franchise. I'm going to try hard not to say the name, but it's a good business. So I looked at the item 19. I've known about this one for a while. I mean, you and I know, like, we're not typically like huge fans of like these types of businesses, but I actually like massage therapy clinics pretty well. I've looked at several FDDs for multiple different franchises, and you can build a nice business. So this one has been around for a while, since 2008. They have 250 locations throughout the U.S. They do massage therapy, and it's, a lot of times, like me and you talk about this all the time, I feel like we work out a lot, or we do sports. We get, aches and pains. We go to the chiropractor or the massage therapist. I go to a massage therapist twice a month. I have to do it. It just makes me feel better. So what's nice about these businesses is you're helping people, with pain, oftentimes helping them make them feel better, but also it's recurring revenue. So I'm on a subscription plan. They can count on my membership every month. And I think this particular business in Fort Lauderdale, since it's been around since 2008, has quite a few memberships, 580 active memberships, which is kind of...
Dude, 580 is a lot.
Yeah, for sure. They have 8 different massage rooms and 23 employees, including 2 managers. So this one, I don't know for sure, but it seems like one you could kind of do semi-passively, because I think there's management in place. But that would be a conversation you need to have with the franchisor. But yeah, asking price is $625,000. So you can kind of do the math on what, the seller discretionary earnings may or may not be. But again, like I said, I like this one because it is reoccurring revenue. Unlike some other franchise resales where they're more project-based, and you still have to continue to do sales, this one is more like you kind of inherit those accounts. And unless you massively screw it up, you can continue to have that foundation and grow upon that foundation of customers. So, yeah, like I mentioned, the core business model is getting members in at for one single session, then they can become members. So they can become like the reoccurring revenue members. And then there's other product lines that they offer, I think supplements and things like that. There's probably other services as well. So this particular franchise system, when I looked at the 2023 numbers, All the clinics that were open for at least 1 year, which was 228 represented in the item 19, which is a lot, had an average unit volume of 905,000. So I think that's pretty damn good for 228 reporting locations to have that high of average revenue. The highest one doing 2.5 million. So I like this business. I think it could be interesting for the right person, right? By the time you pay off your debt service, I'd be curious what you're bringing in per month, but still, I think it could be pretty healthy.
Yeah. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes there's a mute button on the actual microphone. Sometimes I always forget. I'm like, is it muted? Not muted? And sometimes I press it accidentally. This is really interesting to me. I'm excited about this resale opportunity, not just because it's confidential and mysterious. And by the way, for those of you who, if you're around the Florida area and you want to, sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and learn more about this resale, you go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You can have a free conversation with our team to talk about next steps. Or if you're just like, hey, I like the idea of purchasing an existing franchise, that's one of the things Kevin and our brokerage team specializes in now, is identifying, finding, sourcing, and helping people get through the resale franchise purchase process. But a lot of clients now buy resales, become a pretty significant part of the way that we help people. So if you want to see what's available in your specific market or area, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You'll just fill out a quick little form that takes, I don't know, 20 seconds. And then you'll be able to schedule a free call for us to be able to check on that for you. Yeah, this is so I really like the recurring income part of it, because you figure, so 580 active customers or members. I would imagine that a certain percentage are actual members, and then there's a certain percentage that are just customers who aren't members. But with that sort of business, I mean, I'd be curious. So if the AUV is $900,000 average unit sales out of 228 franchise locations, do you know if they disclose what percentage of the AUV is like recurring income, or no?
The information I looked at did not have that, but I think once you had signed an NDA, you could easily access that, information. They're going to have that. It's such a established business. It's been around, the owner obviously knows what they're doing. So I don't think it'd be hard to get those numbers.
Yeah, for sure. So I would estimate that, like, in a business like this, I would estimate that probably 70 to 80% of the revenue from the business is recurring. And imagine the idea of waking up in your business. Yeah, you still have to, there's still churn and attrition, right? Like members will still leave, but imagine waking up just knowing we have 500 people or 450 people paying us on a monthly basis, where we automatically bill their credit card. It just provides a unique stability to the business overall. So I just think it's pretty cool. I like the recurring model overall, just as a kind of a rule of thumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I go to a different franchise here where I live, and I always ask questions about them, about the business, to the massage therapist, and it's interesting, how they get paid versus what they're charging. I mean, it's a good business. So I think having 23 employees, I'd be curious to know how many of those are like part time versus full time. How many are office workers versus massage therapists? So those would be kind of questions I would ask.
Speaking of massage resales, we just got word about a resale with one of the largest franchise massage places, Hand and Stone, and we got looped in with someone who reached out saying, hey, there's some opportunities to buy some resales in a specific market where the owner owns, what I think he said, like 4 locations.
Mm-hmm.
So again, guys, because of the platform and the content, all the stuff that we do, we get unique opportunities that get brought to us that are not always publicly available, which is pretty cool. Did he ever email you guys back? Did you guys ever connect?
No, but it's on my list to follow up with him. But yeah, we're working with a client in another area outside of that, even resale. I said, "Hey, I noticed you had another resale in this area. I'd be curious to learn more about." So yeah, I think it's just definitely, you know, just ingrained in our process now. What's interesting is sometimes people will come to us about a resale, and then we'll also recommend looking at new units, and then they decide like, okay, that's actually a better path, and I found a really good franchise that's a good fit for me, available in my territory. So we just had one happen with the next franchise we're talking about here. But yeah, it's I definitely recommend everybody take a look. Sometimes, depending on your financial situation, it's not feasible or not a good fit. So every client is a unique situation.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll answer. I see we have a question. We'll answer it closer towards the end. We'll save the question towards the end that Billy has on is it difficult to close down an LLC? So we'll hit that in a little bit. But so this is in preparation for the franchise that we're. Should we cover the franchise first and then talk about the case study, or you want to talk about the case study first? Let's talk about the case study first.
All right.
So the franchise we're about to show you is the one that makes $35 million a year, average of 5.3. And we actually recently had a client that bought this franchise or a few territories with them. So tell us just about Chris and Rhonda, what their situation was, what their challenge was, and then how did you figure out that this franchise was the best fit and what attracted them to then be like, okay, we're going to pull the trigger and go this route?
Yeah. Yeah. Chris and Rhonda were awesome people to work with. I think you met Chris through like a personal, yeah, anyways, but you introduced him to us. We started working with him through our standard process, but they own a family business, very successful family business that you know they've they've been able to establish themselves pretty well in their community, and they were looking to diversify their portfolio and looking for something mainly Rhonda would kind of do full time, as well as their daughter, who is just kind of I think that she was getting close to graduating college. I'm not exactly sure, but anyways, it was going to be another family business, but they wanted to do something new and different, which I think is interesting. Like they've owned an independently non-franchise business for a long time, family business, but they still wanted to go down the franchise path because, they didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They just wanted to get into something that was proven, but also like was in an area of interest. So one of the things they really wanted was like more creativity, and so Rhonda really liked the idea of like having a design element to the business. But they just didn't want to do something unless it could like scale and make money. Their whole thing was they wanted to give back to their church and their community, and they wanted to do something where they could make money and really give back. And so this checked like all the boxes, like very scalable, profitable business, had that creative element to it. You're creating living spaces for people, and it was available in their market in another nearby city, so they ended up doing both markets actually. So yeah, we did show them a variety of different options. They went pretty far down the path with a totally different type of franchise, but ultimately decided that this one was the best fit after doing a decent amount of due diligence on it. You're on mute.
See, I spoke that into existence right there. Like, damn it.
Basketball announcers are like, he hasn't missed a free throw in 30 attempts, and then the next shot he misses a free throw.
And you always know right after it happens in the NFL too. You're like, this is his 74th consecutive field goal. Not anymore. All right, so the franchise is Closet Factory, right? We're gonna dive into the numbers. You're definitely going to want to hang out for this, but yeah, tell us about Closet Factory, Kevin.
Yeah, Closet Factory it's kind of one of those franchises a lot of people have never heard of, but then once we start to show them the numbers and everything behind it, they're like, holy crap, why have I not heard of this? So it's been around since 1983. I mean, 40 plus years, that alone, that's awesome to see. Like, it stood the test of time. Started franchising in 1985. So, a lot of people ask me right away, like, why do they only have 78 franchise units? It's because they have huge territories. Like, they don't want to carve up territories, and they know, like, you need a big population to get to the numbers that they want their owners to get to. So they've just taken a different approach than some franchises. So that's why you see the lower unit count. It is fairly rare, like Closet Factory is available in markets. I mean, they still have several open markets, but a lot of them are taken. So this one, the total investment is on the higher end. It's between 344 and 611. And that's because you do need an actual retail space with a showroom that you're going to meet with customers, show them different, like, product samples, different ideas. And then you need, like, basically a small warehouse attached to the showroom that you are holding inventory, equipment, parking your vehicles, things like that. So it's a pretty big operation. Like, you definitely need to be more of a true CEO. And that's the type of people they're looking for. You're going to have a sales team, you're going to have an installation team. So there's, it's definitely more of a complicated business in some ways, because you are manufacturing and installing the actual, stuff. So it can be from closets to pantries to garage spaces, anything you can think of inside your home. They even do, like, office spaces and commercial stuff. So it's kind of cool. Like, they go in and you see a room that you wouldn't think could be, transformed into what it is. And they can do things for a pretty good price point. And I think this business does well because, if you don't want to move from your home, or you don't have the financials to move, but you want more space and a better use of your space, this is where a company like Closet Factory can really come in and optimize your home. So I like this business quite a bit. Like I said, they have huge territories, so they don't, try to oversell units. And
So
Chris,
real quick, I mean, that's pretty, because there are other closet upgrade franchises out there, but a lot of them don't have numbers even remotely close to this. I'm sure part of how long they've been in business impacts it, but none of the other franchises actually you actually manufacture
yeah,
it, right? Like, this is unique to this franchise.
I think so. I think there might be one other where you actually manufacture it, but it is fairly unique for sure. And I think they just want a different type of owner. They want somebody that can manage an entire metropolitan area. Like, they just want one Closet Factory owner for the city, and you serve that city. So that's why you see, one of the reasons why you see these types of numbers. The other is the systems they have in place, the marketing systems, the sales, and then they have a pretty cool partnership with Costco that I can explain here in a bit. But let's go through the item 19. Like, the numbers don't lie. If you look at total gross sales for 47 franchise businesses, the average gross sales were 5.399, 5.4 million, basically, with the high doing 35.2 million. So I asked Chris and Rhonda about that. They actually spoke with that owner. I think that owner is in Denver. Pretty sure they're in Denver Metro. And then they spoke with another owner in Florida that was, like, on the heels of that guy. So they're up in that range. So I don't know if it was necessarily, like, that big of an anomaly.
That's fascinating. That is just absurd to have a business doing that amount of annual sales. That's pretty cool.
If you think about it, like, in a place like Denver that's such fast growing and so dense, where, like, the real estate costs are just skyrocketing. Okay, like, people want to optimize their existing homes and not move further out of the suburbs. Like, that's what's starting to happen. So I feel like, to drop $50,000 on, like, optimizing a room or two and making it into a workspace. Like, the other thing that's helped this company is, like, work from home. A lot of people want to transform a room into a really cool office space. And so you've seen that as well. So I like this business quite a bit. It's a fairly high investment, so not everybody can kind of pursue this one. And I do think it takes a little bit of time to get ramped up, but Yeah, definitely worth looking into. The other thing I was going to mention, if you could scroll down a little bit, all the way down. Yeah, they have a Costco partnership. So I think year one, they really focus on like digital and print marketing, and that you'll get a lot of leads and kind of get your feet wet doing that. And then year two, they have you enter into the local Costco's, and they have an exclusive partnership with them where you have a kiosk, ton of foot traffic. You get a lot of business from the Costco. So they want you to basically, you know, train yourself through these other lead channels. You'll be very busy first year, and then second year you get into Costco.
Yo, that's crazy, man. People love Costco too. Costco has an insane amount of traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. So multiple product lines, like I said, different rooms, large territories, obviously high revenue potential. Yeah, it's a cool business.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you guys watching live, since we got a good amount of you, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. If you have questions about any things that we covered, and we'll hit them at the we'll hit questions at the end. But I just want you to think for a moment. You know, a franchisee doing 35 million. Number one, for people that sometimes on YouTube have people comment and are like, "You can't make any money in franchising," and I'm like, I I I beg to differ. And of course, this is not the, the norm, but it just shows there's great opportunities out there that you've never heard of. So as an example, actually, this is like a perfect uh oh, I'm not sure. I'm just sharing my window. But as an example, for those of you, we have our franchise buyers academy, right? Where it basically explains how to make money owning franchises and like where you should focus your efforts on, and gives you everything you want to know. And the funny part is, which we're about to change this headline actually, but it's about how, people are entrepreneurs making money using blue chip franchises that you've never heard of. That you've never heard of. There are so many franchises, hundreds of them that you've never heard of, that have a track record of proven data of sales, and that franchisees who are making money. It's in their FDD, it's in their disclosure document. You probably never heard of the franchises. And you got to be careful out there, because nowadays there's a lot of aggressive sales strategies with franchises, and franchises that are not necessarily proven, right? And here we are showing you a franchise that's been franchising longer than I've been alive. Like, I was born in 88, right? So they've been franchising longer than I've been alive. And so it's a unique opportunity. And what we're seeing is that some resales are coming available, with that franchise as well.
Yeah.
But let Go
And
ahead.
it's interesting because it's like, it's a really good point. And then like those type of franchises, like I think the other thing people don't realize with franchising is like it is definitely a mutual like interview for the good ones. Like this one, Closet Factory is they're pretty like picky and exclusive on who they want to bring into their system. And you can kind of see it in their numbers. Like it's, so it is something where, yeah, a lot of these ones you've never heard of because maybe they only have 70 units doesn't mean they're not just killing it.
100%. Cool. So guys, if you want to see if I mean, there's not a lot of them left, but if you want to see if there's a territory available for Closet Factory, you can do that with our team for free at franchiseempire.com/check territory. I'll also jump in. I'll also drop the link down below for simplicity as well. And again, it doesn't like there's no you definitely want to go through our team in order to check to see if the territory is available. That's how you support this business, is we can introduce you to the franchise in the instance where it is available. Boom. Let's see. So Kevin, we have this as a question. You want to just hit that again?
Yeah. So the initial investment is 344 to 611. So that's a pretty big range. I don't know. I don't know why it's that big a range. Honestly, I should probably look at the item 7 again. I imagine it's partly due to the real estate element of it. You know, you do need a showroom and warehouse space. So depending on your market and the renovation required for the showroom, that might be the biggest variable in that investment range.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. We had another question, which was, is it difficult to close down an LLC? Oh, I'm curious what you're asking that in relation to. You're talking about the resale and what that looks like for a resale. Maybe if you're still on, Billy, if you can clarify real quick before we jump to the next part of the newsletter, though. Typically, when you buy a resale, you're not buying someone's LLC. It's structured as an asset sale. So you're just buying all of the assets of the business and transferring them to your new LLC. That would be called what a like a stock purchase, or I forget exactly what it's called if you do it the other way. But that's uh, m- I'd say over 90% of small business transactions are asset sales, where you create your own LLC, put everything underneath it. In order to close down an LLC, it depends on if you have an existing business up and running and what's attached to it overall. I mean, if it's just an empty LLC, you could just dissolve it with a form. Generally, is pretty easy. File to your Secretary of State. So I think pretty simple overall. Real quick, we're going to hit our last part, which is the Franchise Empire show. But I just want to say, like, for those of you watching, and let us know in the comments, like, what sort of content you want us to make, or franchises that you'd like us to cover here in the in the future, if there's any specific ones. But I know that a lot of people watching you're probably either in one of two camps. Number one, you're thinking, I'm still not sure if franchising is right for me. Like, I'm interested in the idea overall. I kind of like it, but I just don't know enough to feel like if this is the path that I want to do. I don't know what are all the options out there, kind of how to fund them, and just the process of buying one and what that all looks like. And then, so that's option number one, or situation number one. Number two is that you're like, hey, I like the idea of franchising. I'm pretty sure if I found the right one, I would pull the trigger on it. But I, I need to know, like, what is the best franchise for me and my area, budget, personality specifically. So for those of you who you want to keep progressing and don't want to just consume information, you actually want to take action on that information, because no progress or success happens without an action occurring, right? So two paths. So for those of you who are still like unsure, you still need to learn more about it, then the way that we can support you with that is our Franchise Buyers Academy. That's hands down. It's $27 for now. At some point soon, we'll raise the price. But it's literally your map, your entire map and blueprint on how to make money owning franchises, everything that you need to know. And so you can get that at franchiseempire.com/FBA and see what it's all about. The second path for you is if you're just like, hey, I just need some help finding a franchise that is, specific to me. And again, my budget, my personality, my skill sets. The best thing to do there would be to go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. And our team, Kevin, and our brokerage team would be able to, have a conversation with you, understand what your financial situation is, like what you can afford, what your overall like skill set is, like how you're wired as a person, and then be able to share with you specific franchises that are available in your market. Oh, and by the way, that's a free conversation to have that conversation. So those are the two paths. Just wanted to point that out there real quick, because I know sometimes people are confused. Or like, based on where I'm at, what's my best next step? That would be my recommendation overall. Oh, let me just drop the link for FBA as well in the chat just to make it easy. But the last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, is Franchise Empire show. So recently I got to sit down with, have you ever heard of Huntington Learning Centers, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's working with an owner of Huntington right now, so that's why.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I sat down with the daughter of the founders, Anne Huntington Sharma, and yeah, we just had a solid conversation. And I would say probably a good amount of the conversation was focused on, I wanted to understand what she saw as the difference between top performing franchisees and the franchisees that are not top performing franchisees. So we had that chat. You can check it out on the Franchise Empire Show YouTube channel just by typing in the Franchise Empire Show, or wherever you consume podcast. The Franchise Empire Show's on there as well. So with that said, anything to close out on, Kevin?
No, I would say third scenario. Well, yes, I do. Third scenario in the two scenarios you described could be, I've worked with a consultant before. I didn't like the brands they showed me, and or I don't feel like I know what the hell I'm doing through validation, and I need support. So we see that a lot. Like, it's oftentimes people have already worked with a consultant, just didn't have a great experience and like the brands, and don't feel like they know what they're doing moving forward. So if that's you as well, feel free to reach out and we can tell you if we can help you or not.
That's a great point. That's actually a lot of our best clients come from those situations
Yeah.
where they've had bad experiences with other franchise brokers or consultants, or just weren't impressed. And so, we're happy to show you the way we do things. We just operate a little bit differently, not to poo-poo on anyone else. We the best, as DJ Khaled would say, All right, y'all. Well, have a great Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support and viewership, and hopefully you got value out of it. We'll see you on the next one.